in cinema, oftentimes, especially horror cinema, we forget that sometimes the scariest things are the simplest things. And
Absolutely.
I think that this movie really gets that part right.
Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time. You're late.
Pizza time.
Pizza time. Hey,
What's up, Alex? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? It's been weeks since we've
2 weeks.
Well, it's been weeks since we've seen and talked to each other. Well, not talk to each other. We talk to each other plenty, but how are you? Where are you?
Where am I is more important, right?
Yeah.
I'm in Japan right now. Can't really tell from the background. I'm gonna cut to my camera really quick because it's more obvious. Boom.
Yeah.
Just from the architecture, I expect people to believe that I'm in Japan.
Yeah. He's in Japan. Take it.
I really am.
He's in Japan. Yes, he is. He really is. Yes.
I'm looking at the Tokyo Sky Tree through fog right now.
Which is not a real tree. I had to Google that.
Are you serious, dude? You had to Google whether or not the Sky Tree was a real tree?
I don't know. It's fucking. It's an ancient country. It could be like a super tall fucking tree, bro. There's beautiful places in Japan and like China too. So like, I thought it was a real tree. I was like, oh, I'm sure it's like the Sky Tree, and then I didn't realize that it was the picture you posted from your hotel room. I was like,
oh my god,
the fucking building he posted.
I'm so happy I brought that up. Yeah, that was a good nugget from you. Yeah, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
The Space Needle is also not a real needle, just to let you know.
Bitch,
don't look
it
up.
That.
Just all right. Well, welcome everybody to our next episode here on our Indian adventure. It's Indian Tuesday. We've dubbed it, right? We have a new banner on our channel.
Yes, we have a new banner on our channel. I had some time.
Thank you, Alex.
So we haven't spoken in 2 weeks because I was actually in Italy, getting things prepped for my wedding. So I was in Italy and happened to jump over to Japan. I had some time when I was in Italy to go ahead and just jump on. But yeah, now we're back and we're gonna talk about Indian cinema.
Yeah,
every Tuesday.
And today we have a special one because it's our first horror film that we've been requested. A lot of you guys requested this one, and I'm super happy because we were getting a lot, and also the audience has been really getting on their nerves a little bit that how much action films we cover.
Yes, dude.
Hey, rightfully so, because all we have covered is basically action films, besides maybe Three Idiots and My Name Is Khan. And that's true. Okay, PK isn't. Yeah, you're right. So we covered three. I don't know. Not too bad. But people seem to think we're just like action aficionados, and it's like that's not true.
I think a lot of people are also wondering when we're going to get into the meat of the suggestions. But you had this trip coming. I had my trip coming. So we're busy. Like, let's get the first 4 off the list that we posted.
Also, it was a catch-22 because the density with which everyone started just throwing all these Indian movies at us was just like overwhelming, and it's a good thing. Yeah. But there's only so much hours in the week that we have. We both work, and so we're gonna get to it, guys. Like we saw some of you being very mad at us for like not getting to things quick enough. We apologize, but I promise you we're gonna get there for sure.
We're gonna get there. We promise. Yes.
Yes, but it's just a testament to how dense it is. All the goodness that we're about to go through. So, but this thus includes Tumbbad, which is the Hindi horror film that we're going to cover today. Again, referenced by a lot of you in the comments, and I was so excited when we got a horror film because I think we do need a little bit of flavor in
pace.
Yes, a change of pace for everything I've been watching lately, and this is a perfect one, particularly because we can divulge into this really quick just to give a background on horror. But I'm not a horror aficionado. I don't seek out horror too much in our usual perusings of cinema. That's the same for you, right, Alex? Like you not really.
I'm not going to go like out of my way to go watch a horror film,
right.
But like there are things that will get me into a theater to watch it, like Scream 6. I love the Scream franchise. It got me into the theater. And what was the big one when I was a teenager that really got me into the seat? Paranormal Activity. That's what it was.
Oh yes, Paranormal Activity. Yes,
because that was like an event. So I went to go see that. But other than that, like horror is not our cup of tea, I'd say.
Yeah, not that we hate it. Again, it's not something that I feel like we both look for.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
In the gist of it all. That being said, I do love a lot of horror films. I've seen many. I'm a much more like psychological thriller fan versus the sort of campy horror, right? Like the Scream versus the Scream stuff. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, that's my sort of my perusings typically if I were to watch a horror film. So I like a lot of the A24 hubba bubba horror films.
Yeah, which is funny because I hate like
I know you do.
And Hereditary. Hereditary is absolute trash.
Shut up! Shut your mouth about Hereditary.
It's just the trashiest movie I've ever seen.
Oh my god!
Midsommar. I think I wanted to just. I don't really know how I finished Midsommar. I thought the movie.
I will agree with Midsommar. I didn't. By the way, apparently it's pronounced Midsommar, which I've been told many times now. But Midsommar. Midsommar was definitely not as interesting, and it was weird. But Hereditary, I have to disagree with you. I think it's one of the best horror films ever made. Watched it many times.
Everyone.
Tell Alex how good Hereditary is in the comments, please. Please tell me.
I think everyone would disagree with me, so it's okay.
You never know. I thought people were going to disagree with me when my name is Khan, and hey, thank you by the way for everyone who complete so much love, so much endearing support from you guys. Thank you so much. You guys made me feel
on the
very
internet.
safe.
That's not something I would have.
I know, especially on like a review show where it's like opinions fly rampant. It could easily go off the rails. You guys were very, very kind, particularly to me. So thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
I want to capitalize on that really quick. The comments you guys had on My Name is Khan and the conversation you guys had going down in there about 9/11 and the experiences and the back and forth of if it was a good movie, it was not. We love that. Is all great stuff.
I ate that up. I was going through that like it was a TikTok feed.
We read all of that, and I tried to respond to some when I was in Italy because I take that duty on for us. But yeah, it's
yes, you do.
It was so nice, so great to see you guys. Kind of
really was
friendly, mostly. Pretty much all of it was super respectable, which was
compared to typical YouTube comments, dude. This was nice. Yeah, it was great. So thank you for that. But okay, all right. Enough preamble. Let's get into the horror film Tumbbad. I'm sorry, which is a 2018 Hindi language horror film. I would call it a folk horror film. I'm surprised that word isn't being used as often in the description of the movie, because it's definitely it was a folk horror tale, which I love when I found that out, because I didn't know too much going into Tumbbad, and I love that. But it follows the story of basically someone who's a father who's trying to find this treasure, but it's no ordinary treasure. It's located in the Indian city of Tumbbad, and it is guarded by a deity turned demon named Hastar from I guess it's from Hindu mythology. And it follows his trek into trying to get that treasure from this demon, and also the consequences it may have on his family. So that is a little backstory on the movie. It is directed by Rahi Anil Barve. Hopefully I pronounced that right. It is starring Shohum Shah, who is also a producer. And fun fact on this too was that is the first Indian film to be. It's the first Indian film to be screened, to be the initial screening at the Venice Film Festival, the 44th Venice Film Festival, which is a great honor. I didn't know that. That's awesome. Yeah, you know that, right? Really cool. Really cool. And so. That's the bit of the synopsis of the film. I'm going to go straight into my
go ahead.
My review, if you don't mind.
Take it, please.
I really, really, really love this movie. It's fantastic. There's a few problems, but overall, by the end of the film, I was digging it. I think the best parts of the film are clearly the visuals. The cinematography is incredible, and the production design. Both are absolutely better than most American horror films, in my opinion. I don't know the team they got behind this, whoever shot this, the production design, but it's absolutely. I mean, dude, like the grandma with the tree coming out of her body. What an incredible set piece, right? And let's talk.
Video game-ish.
Yeah, absolutely. just the density of it and like the use of light. And then of course the womb of the goddess was like talk about a red room like Star Wars. Dude, this was a better red room.
Yeah.
This is a better red
room. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. But like stuff like that was just incredible. Probably even, I would say even above like the typical A24 film, where I would actually akin this probably into look and feel to like what I would expect out of A24, which is a complete, that's a plus, I would say. That is not a detriment to the film. Yeah. But I loved all that. I loved the simplicity of the story, of it being about greed and how it essentially divulges into this dissection of what happens to people who, are too greedy and how it affects their lives. I love that. The only, overall, I thought it was just a great movie. There's two issues I had with it, which are more or less minor, but they do stick out. The acting isn't great. It kind of took me out a few times, particularly in the beginning with the kid. That kid is a horrible actor. And he kind of ruined the scenes with the grandma. I'm sorry, like it is what it is. Yeah. But it ruined the scenes with the grandma because, you're trying to get into this horror state and the kid just doesn't seem scared. Right. He's just kind of like, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah. And then the second problem I had was the middle of the movie was a bit, I think, a little overlong, like middle of chapter 2-ish. I thought it was a little overlong. Also, the tone was a little weird with the use of the music, and we'll get into that in a sec. But, anyways, overall, I thought it was ultimately a wonderful, horror dissection into this idea of greed, and it doesn't rely too heavily on jump scares. It really is about more so how this affects, people, and I thought that was ultimately what I really made this a strong movie. Anyways, what say you, Alex? Did you like Tumbbad? How did you feel?
As a car, just
racist. Wow, you sound like you were in the Philippines just now.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's racist. No, I'm just kidding.
It's not racist. It's just
no, I'm kidding.
It's reality.
Anyway. Yeah. So I liked the movie as well. I don't think I was as hyped about it as you.
All right, sure. I honestly thought you were going to hate this movie. I really thought you were just going to hate this movie. So I'm happy you liked it.
There's parts of it where I'm just like, okay. So look, so for me, the movie has more wrong than good.
Okay. All right.
But I do like it. I do actually like the simplicity behind the theme of the movie. And I like that it was just given to you off the bat from Gandhi's quote, which was the world has enough for everyone's needs, but not enough for everyone's greed.
Love that quote.
Hey, that's basically saying, hey, dumbasses, here's what the movie is. Go ahead. And I kind of loved that. I loved that because it's like, hey, here you go. So yes, love that part. And I would agree with you. The kids actors part was not well acted. I was kind of like, this is painful to get through.
It's a little painful.
Yeah, like
even the mom wasn't selling it to me. They just weren't selling. Thank goodness for the atmosphere. Thank goodness for the production design, because if it wasn't for that, the movie would fall apart so quickly.
So going into that's what saves the movie for me. When he goes into the Tumbbad castle, I believe is what they call.
Sure.
And when he starts to go through all the layers and trains himself to go through down into the pit, the womb, and face Hostar right in the eye, and really kind of basically trick him and steal pennies from him. And you always kind of wonder why he's only coming back with so little every time. And then when that reveal happens, you're kind of like, oh, yes, I get it. That's really clever. So like the production design really helped me get through the movie. And then the reveal of Hostar I thought was fantastic. The reveal of the grandma, when we did get to see her, I thought was really great.
Agreed.
The tree and the beating heart, I was like, oh, that looks so good.
Dude, the practical effects, and the visual effects really came together on this movie nicely. and balanced. Like they use it in the right areas, in the right places, the right stuff. It was phenomenal. Yeah.
Would I call this a horror film? No, and I think that's where I would get a little bit
interesting
let down. There was nothing about the movie that
terrified
me. Yeah. There was and when I say terrified, I don't need to be jump scared into it.
Sure.
But I don't know. I was never threatened by anything. I think maybe once was when the very end of the film, when he takes with his son and the son brings all the dolls because he thinks he's going to trick them, and the greed comes back to get you, which is a very, very subtle and brilliant point. And all the clones of Hostar are there to basically mess everything up. I was like, oh, well, that's threatening. But other than that, no, I was kind of like, there's nothing here that it's really got me on the edge of my seat.
I hear you.
I think that's where the movie felt a little bit flat to me. Other than that, again, the cinematography in this is absolutely insane.
I definitely think it would be Oscar worthy for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Dude.
Yeah, it's incredible.
The shots when they're coming down and into the womb, and you see the red room, and you're kind of like, whoa. That's insane. That looks great. There was this great one-shot sequence early on in the movie. Everything is really, really well done and well crafted. And I will also agree with you. This is the shortest one we've watched so far, and I still think it's too long. This one,
it's so true. It's so true.
In the middle, I was kind of like, okay, I don't need this side story with the man.
Yeah.
I get, we get that he's going to betray him, and that the greed will take over him. I mean, I get why you had it in there, but I was like, why is this British guy in here? I don't need to know. You can just make this guy an asshole to make him an asshole. I don't need a reason to dislike him.
For sure. Yeah, that part was bloated. We can talk about it. No, I agree with you. That whole thing, again, Indian cinema tends to shift tones often. And I will say that they've been more successful when it's a pure Indian film where it's just really made for India versus when it's sort of a hybrid film produced by another country, say USA. Right. There's definitely, I'm not sure if the tones there always really match. And I think it happened here again in chapter 2 in the middle of the movie where you have to go through some exposition as to set up where the main character is at in his life. And then again with this with the merchant, or he sells opium, or what is it?
Opium. He's an opium merchant.
Is it opium? Yeah,
it's opium.
So it sidetracked the main. Sorry, Siri. It sidetracked the story a little bit. Again, it tends to happen often, and what I always hope would happen is that it kind of comes together again. But more often than not, it doesn't seem to. So in this case, you were right. I agree with you. It didn't feel very necessary to really. Yeah. It just seemed like some sort of artificial inflation to sort of get us to make the movie seem bigger than it really is, which I think was a mistake because I thought that if they just had focused and stayed on the main story and maybe the horror element, that it would have been a better movie. So I totally agree with you on that. But that being said, like with all Indian movies, they pretty much always nail the ending. And so when we get to the end of chapter 2, when we find out what happens to that opium motherfucker, holy mother of God, it was kind of worth it. So
it's so they make it worth it. But again, I think that you could just we could just introduce the character, and you could have him after a few meetings, once he started to wonder where this gold is coming from, follow him, and then that's all you need. You don't need the backstabbing angle, but I understand why you have it in there. Greed ruins all, and again, I think the best part about this movie is there's not some, like Hereditary, there's not some stupid twist where they're all part of a cult or something. Spoiler alert. But it's hey, the message of this movie is gonna be about greed. And I think in cinema, oftentimes, especially horror cinema, we forget that sometimes the scariest things are the simplest things. And Absolutely. I think that this movie really gets that part right. And for me, that's what takes this from a Hereditary film in my book to a good film in my book.
I love that. Let's talk about that for a second, and let's talk about Hereditary, because I don't disagree with you, but here's where a Hereditary fan, I'll make an argument, is that where I feel like you're right in Hereditary. See, that movie crescendos and relies very heavily on sort of the fantastical reveal versus like sort of the narrative theme as much. That being said, the reason why I like that ending is because I think it does it better than pretty much all horror films do when balls have to go to the wall. Okay, I think execution wise it did that right. Again, you don't agree, but I love the way that Ari Aster crescendoed that, particularly in that style. This movie is the opposite in the sense that what I loved about it is that it doesn't rely on that as much. It definitely it was much more an exploration of like not the madness that lies in the shadows like Hastar, but like the madness that consumes those in the light. So one of my favorite parts of the film is the story of the father, like just the father and his family, and how it's his world decays. It's decaying at the thought. They even say that in the movie, like his house is decaying. And that's essentially what the movie really is. This observation of what greed does to a person. And so besides those like fantastical mythological parts where in the womb, I love those smaller scenes with him and his son. Right, I love that whole sequence where we in chapter 3, the beginning of chapter 3. I love that whole beginning sequence where they have to basically tell us like, oh, it's paternal, like he's going to transfer this over to his son. That's what he wants to do. And the whole time you're going, oh, what a dumb idea. Like, but that's where you know where it's going to go. But I love that they focus on the child to see how this is affecting him, like how he gives the coin to the mistress and they have that party, and you just go, oh, this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible, but that's what it's supposed to be, because that's the point. The point is to show that this can absolutely be a venom in society, in a family setting, and how it's going to continue to destroy just throughout centuries. I mean, the kid is the third generation, right? And so it's that focus that I thought was really interesting. I actually thought to be a more effective, if you don't want to call it horror, to maybe even like a psychological thriller, I think they could have even focused more on that and see the true, just like family going into madness, kind of like Hereditary in that sense. That really, I think, would have taken it to probably like the next level, like really rise above sort of what we can really expect, what we've had before. But
I completely agree with you. I think that third act, the chapter 3, if you will, really saves, in my book, 100%. The movie and gives it all meaning, because you see what the father has become. You see where he's pushing his son to, and you see his son in just an insane pace, like go down this downward spiral. He's at that party. He's, bribing the mistress. It's like, one day I will marry you. And it's like, whoa, here's the effect of what you've built.
And what's fascinating is that's like the top, right? Like that's the apex of greed. Is at his young age, he's already at the top of where this gets the best. And it's so sad because he's already into like, bribing and sexual acts at his age, and nothing affects him. What's scary is how he always has this face of excitement and pride, no matter what the horrible things that he knows his dad's doing and transferring onto him, he's excited. That's so dark, to think at that age. And the way that he has to use, his dad gets mad at him, right? And he starts to beat him because he's like, hey, what are you doing? Like, you trying to get, give your coins to the mistress. And he's like, look, instead instead of crying or getting mad at his dad, he thinks of a way to feed his greed more by saying, hey, instead of, just getting a couple of coins every time we go down there, what if we steal his pouch? And then that completely turns the tables in favor of himself and his father. And it's just like, it's like a gambling addiction almost, right? It's like when you enable, it's so, it's like, it's just painful to watch, but kind of fascinating at the same time. So You
hit it on the head when you said, it's an addiction. Greed is an addiction. That's what it is. I think that's the story. The horror element obviously isn't really there for the movie, for me at least. But when you watch that, I can see how some people can watch and go, "Oh, watching a kid do this is scary."
That's horrible.
It is scary.
It is true, especially for like parents. I'm sure when a parent watches this movie, they're like, "Oh God, like I really got to be careful with what I'm telling my kid to do, or I'm showing, or how your kid views your actions." When depending on what you do,
right?
It's they really pick that up. And if you're not attentive to it, and if you fuel it, things it will lead bad. I wanted to talk to you then about the ending and how you felt about how it resolved. Where at the end of the film we find out that so I'll describe it really quickly. So they go back down to the womb one last time. As you said earlier, they had a bunch of the dough
dolls,
and great sequence, by the way. Reveal that the more dolls you have, the more hussars there are.
That moment I was like, oh,
wonderful. Wonderful third act. And you realize though that the father chooses to save his son, right? And he goes up, he gets bitten or whatever. The son goes back up. He finds out his father has been turned, obviously, and he tries to give him the coin, the purse of coins that he was managed to steal out of one of them, I guess. But the kid decides to not take it and then burn his father. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that. What did you think of that? Is that what you expected? How you expected the film to end, or did you expect them to go full on, and the kid goes down the same rabbit hole, full of madness and greed?
Oh, so
how did you feel about that?
I was hoping the kid took the money. As terrible
really
as it is, that he didn't learn anything. That the cycle has continued, because that to me is a horror ending with a meaning. That
I agree. I see.
Greed will be generational wise.
Yes.
That you can't defeat greed. If you teach it to your kids, you're never going to get out of it. And I think that would have been the scariest part of the movie to me. That to let you think that.
Well, see, that would be I think that I agree with you. And I think in my heart of hearts, I was thinking, oh, he's for sure going to take it.
So I thought
he's going to burn his dad and he's going to take it.
Right.
And so I was thinking that would make that would be such a great, especially modern, just horrific ending, to just go out on that kind of theme, resolution. I also wanted to go that way, but at the same time, I don't know. I kind of felt like I was okay with the ending. I think it didn't detract, I think, for me.
Yeah.
That the fact that they gave him a happy ending, more or less, Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't deter from your enjoyment, did it?
No. No. I'm happy with that ending. I thought it was perfectly fine. It's a lesson learned, and he's hopefully onto a better route from here. I don't know.
Yeah, I would assume so.
But it's open ended, so you can almost assume that he's going to make the correct decisions to right his life. But again, it's open ended, so you don't really know. But yeah, I did wish that he took the money, that he took the full coin purse.
Or a half measure where it seems like he drops the bag, but like as he walks away, he drops like one out of his pocket, as if like maybe he took like 3 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
he took a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I didn't take all of it, but I took a little bit.
Yeah. Because again, you can't.
My pockets ain't empty, cuz.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Oh, Tyrese.
Anyways,
what were some things you didn't like about the movie?
Again, we'll get over the acting, because the acting is whatever. They didn't have a lot of money to work with. They only had like $630,000. By the way, this movie is made for, which again is like just not a lot of money. But it goes to show what you can do.
$600,000.
Yeah,
insane.
No, but I'm glad you brought up the score. I love the score. I put that down here on my notes. Thank you for bringing that up. The score is phenomenal.
Yeah,
the sound design in general is phenomenal. Really, really good. Again, I think on a technical level, this movie is really, really impressive. Like, especially for less than $1 million. You might have to correct me on that. I believe it is made for $5 million correct me. I don't know, but again compared to American film, it's pennies. It's pennies, and it's incredible to see what you can get with that much money, particularly from from a score perspective, the VFX perspective. It's all really good quality. But yeah, I love the score. I thought it wasn't overbearing. It was very atmospheric, and I think when it was employed, it was employed correctly, and it really added to the setting, obviously, of the movie. By the way, speaking of the setting, this is one of the more interesting things I thought about the production. You know that they actually shot in Tumbbad? Tumbbad's a real city, by the way, or a real town. They actually shot there.
I did not know that. No.
Dude, because I was halfway through the movie, I was wondering how much of this is real, because I'm pretty sure a lot of this is
real.
Yeah, the castle looked real, and apparently they really shot in the city. I can't say if the castle was real, but they shot in the city. But dude, when you look at those scenes, I mean, I'm sure there are ruins there, and maybe they got permits to shoot. It looks real, and I'm like, wow. Like I bet like the well isn't real. Like the well isn't real, but the outside shots are, I think.
Yeah.
Because they look too good, and the way that the rain, there's so much great rain in this movie, by the way, too. The effect of the rain is incredible, because I'm like, how do you guys? Did it really rain? Like, how did you get it to look like that?
Same thing. I was like, yo, is it really raining this hard all the time?
Yeah,
it looks good. I don't know how they're pulling.
It's open space, right? Like you would have to put up a bunch of large troughs and all this setup for it, and yet when they move the camera, I don't see any of that, and I'm like, how did you guys do this?
There's that fantastic shot when he's coming back to Tumbbad for the first time after his mother begs him to never go back, right? And the rain's coming down. It's a low angle. You see the truck pulling up, and it looks like it's raining for miles.
I'm telling you, man.
Rain. So like, I was like, how did they pull that off?
It's more than likely. It's more than likely. Obviously, you have foreground rain, and then they have digital grain in the background. I'm sure it's a mixture of that, but whatever the case, it looks fantastic.
The were,
I know, man.
Really good.
It's drenched. Like they're drenched. It looks real. It looks like they really shot it during a horrible rainstorm. And yeah, dude, it's just, I think it's a mixture at the end of the day, but the visuals of the movie are phenomenal. I think it's some of the best visuals in any horror thriller I've seen in a long time. I can't even really think of another one that really matches it in this way. It's fantastic. All gave
like scale to it, right? Everything.
Yeah,
kind of reminded me of like John.
Absolutely.
You know, like the grandiose scale of things.
Yeah, you feel it.
Yeah, you
at no point are you thinking, oh, like they're shooting this on a green screen or a stage. You don't think that. Not once.
You're always set up well. Everything's framed and blocked and staged. Looked to be
excellent.
Yeah, just perfect, really.
Yeah, maybe it's just the use of minimal lighting too. It's just the fact that like shadows dominate there, so that it can like fill in those imperfections. But whatever the case, it does it better than most horror films I've seen for sure, 100%. The production's incredible. It really is. It's just immaculate.
Is a great way to put it. Yes, the production design is just next level.
It definitely could have been nominated at the Academy for stuff like that, 100%. Let me see here. What else can we talk about? Wait, no, I already talked about that. Yeah, man. I think we really went over it. Is there anything else you needed to say? But I really enjoyed it. I guess your gripe with it is that it wasn't really scary, so you wouldn't really call it a horror film. Actually, let's talk about that. So you wouldn't really call it a horror film?
I would not call this a horror film at all.
I have
psychological thriller. I can definitely get behind that. Like the whole scene where his buddy is in the temple or the castle. I'm not sure what to call it. Sorry. And he's there and he's kind of like chasing him, and he obviously it has that like muted tone to it where he's like, you see him like put the stick down, and the guy reacts to the noise, but you don't hear it. So you're almost in the scene. You're kind of being pulled forward to the scene.
That part I liked because it was very Hitchcockian.
Fantastic.
I love that part. Was very Hitchcock.
Yes.
Where it's just a background, foreground play, and guy's just standing there, and we're in the front, so you don't really know. But I just love that. That was a good. I'm not sure if it was inspired by Hitchcock, but it's very Hitchcocky, and I loved it.
Very, very. But like scary. No,
I wouldn't call it scary, but I can see. Look, the moments that the gore and just the immense the immense gore and the visceral imagery that you see sometimes, I'm like, somebody can get really messed up at this movie. I can totally see that. Like when Opium Guy gets burned and is just like stuck in the wall, it's just like, that's horrible. That's just absolutely disgusting. And when Hastar comes and those moments, I can see how that could be. Yeah, I wasn't scared. I was more like, oh, like action.
I think the one thing that got me is when, like you just said, when Hastar comes because the son is dumb and he brings the dough doll in and he doesn't know about it.
Yeah.
Luckily he tells the dad. That part I was like, because the camera pans really fast and he's right there. And I was like, oh, that's pretty creepy. There's something there. Yeah. There's something there. I would like to learn more about Hastar. And I think that could be a cool, scary movie. Yes.
That's funny. You mentioned that because they're currently attempting to write a sequel to the movie.
Oh,
they are, and it is being written by the main star again, who is also producer. So hey, you might get your answers.
I'd like to learn more about that deity and everything. Yeah, we really would.
No, I'd love to know. Yeah, I'd love to know more about Hindu mythology in general. This is my first dive into that whole thing. I had no clue that even existed.
Yeah,
it's a great story. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, there's totally off subject. There are rumors the next God of War game will delve into Hindu mythology, that Kratos will find his way there. Yes.
Oh my god, dude.
Which would be so sounds insane. Like another, because for those that don't know, the 2018 God of War jumped from Greek mythology to Norse mythology, and it really kind of changed everything. And
brilliant choice.
I played them back to back. I had never played God of War 2018, but I knew God of War Ragnarok was coming out. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to jump in. Everybody tells me it's an amazing game. So I jumped in. I played that game. I was like, it's fucking great.
It's great.
I played Ragnarok, and I was like, this is even better. This is great. I know Ed hasn't played it, so we'll stop there. He doesn't have a PS5. He's waiting for it to get ported to PC, which will probably not work very well on PC because PlayStation games don't work well on PC.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting really disillusioned by that now. Hearing the problems with The Last of Us Part 1. Oh my! I still haven't bought it because I've heard that the game's just real problems. That being said, look, RE4 remake, Dead Space remake, they play great. So whatever. It's just Naughty Dog. I know. Yeah. It's just Naughty Dog. So, but I'd love to see Ragnarok. Anyways, back to Tumbbad. That would be great to have a Hindu mythology Ragnarok God of War game. That'd be awesome.
I want to ask the audience this: what do you consider horror in India? Is this a horror film? Is this a scary film in India?
Good question.
I don't know the barometer for Indian horror, and maybe you guys can drop down comments and suggestions as you always do.
I'll do you guys one better. Audience, what is an Indian horror film that will scare the shit out of Alex?
Nothing.
List that in there. I know you.
No, just
challenge.
Kidding.
Accept the challenge.
Just kidding.
Send us the horror films that will make him scared.
The first Paranormal Activity scared the fucking shit out of me. And then
it's really interesting how much that film is so effective, because
it shouldn't work, but
it shouldn't work. When I watched it, I still get scared of that film. It's still one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, and it has almost no blood. It has you don't see the monster at all. I get terrified of that movie every time. Every time. It's a really good freaking movie, man. It's just so good. It's one of the best.
So often, but I went to go see that movie in the theater, and it's still to this day the scariest theater experience I've ever had in my life.
I think I might have to agree with you on that. Yeah.
On top of that, I went home. I could not go to sleep. I tried. I got home at 10:30, and I was like, I'm gonna go to sleep. I can't do it. Okay, I stayed up playing video games pretty much until 5 a.m. in the morning, and then I went to sleep because I was wrecked by that movie.
I remember. I have a similar thing, and I vividly remember this. I went home and I watched Family Guy until like 4 a.m. I just couldn't go to sleep. Couldn't do it.
By the way, Hereditary is just a repackaged Paranormal Activity 3.
Wow. Okay, you're gonna have to do a video essay on that. I'm not even. I don't remember PA3. I really don't.
The family's a cult. They find out the family's a cult.
Oh yeah,
it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Oh yeah, huh? That's true, isn't it? But I would. Hereditary is better than PA3. Fuck you. Come on.
Yeah, it's better than PA3.
Okay, thank you. At least you can give me that.
I'll give you that, definitely.
Right.
Again, I think both are trash. But yeah. Anyway,
I don't understand you.
Yeah, audience, let me know what is a movie that gets you out of your seat, jump scare kind of scare? Because I guess that's what when I hear
send it over.
Movie, that's what I want. You know,
sure.
Like when we went to go see Scream 6, I saw the trailer for The Boogeyman or whatever from Steven Spielberg. I was like, yeah, that's pretty creepy, actually.
It's pretty creepy. That trailer looks great.
That one made me go, the first Conjuring movie. That movie scared me in the theater.
I haven't seen it yet.
I plan on go seeing Evil Dead Rise next weekend. I
doubt that hardly seems like a scary movie. It seems more like I don't know what to call action horror. Like I don't know what to call it.
Action horror, that's what it is. Yes.
It's just like moments happen. They're just meant to be like, oh, I don't know, but not really like get in, right? It's not meant to like really seep into your soul. But
Tumbbad gets into your head, makes you actually think. That's a great film.
It's the best. I agree with that, and I think it could have went even further. I would have loved it if it went further. It would have been great. But for where it went to, I appreciated it.
Mm-hmm. Further would have been the son taking the. Oh, right. I just thought about this. Further would have been the son taking the coin purse, and then leaving his father, not burning him, kind of to be like the grandmother.
To leave him alone.
Full circle.
Oh my god.
That would have been
just no change. Right. No change.
The family is
no pun intended. No change. The gold coins.
Continuously cursed.
Yeah. That would have been I mean, again, that's the kind of ending, the messed up ending I think you expect. And I think it would have been more effective. I think it would have been more effective for it. But I'm glad that the kid will turn a new coin.
Maybe.
In his life. That's good.
Flip a new
coin. Yeah. I wish they went all the way and been like, yeah, we're fucked up too here in India.
I would have loved that. I would have loved it.
Not that the imagery already showed how fucked up you guys can think, which is great.
Again, I think that this movie, and I know Hereditary has that the dollhouse scene or whatever, but for me, this movie is the imagery and the production really takes this movie
next level, dude.
Into a realm where I can be, even me who can enjoy these movies but won't praise them as much as other people can start to praise this movie.
There's an appreciation for it in those respects.
And to end it all again, the simplicity behind the message is what is most effective.
See, this is where I get really confused about you and Hereditary, man. I think we need to both rewatch that movie and come back and talk about it, because how do you don't see the quality in Hereditary in the filmmaking?
I got bored watching it.
Come on, man, the acting. Dude, it's okay. All right.
I don't know. Our former boss Joel literally looked like he never looked angry at me, but he looked like he wanted to fight me when I said Hereditary was trash in a meeting, and he goes, because I think Hereditary is trash. I do not like that movie.
The degree with which you hate it is what's the issue. I think for us who love that movie,
horror movie ever made.
If you said oh yeah, it's fine, I'll be okay. But the fact that you say it's trash,
actually, Midsummer is the worst horror.
Doesn't make sense. Midsummer is definitely up there with. I could be that's not it. I wasn't scared at all. I was just okay, whatever. I don't know, what period blood and girls crying. I don't know. Seems like a Saturday. Just kidding.
Saturday once a month.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I think if there's nothing else to say, I think we've said enough about Tumbbad.
Yes,
Thank you for sending that over.
We're going over too far.
We can wrap it up. So this has been great. Send us more over to watch, horror or not, just any great movies. We have plenty from you guys to go over. Yes. There's no shortage of it. Please be patient with us. It's endless. So just stay tuned.
Bear with us.
But we also.
Oh, good.
I just want to say we also are wanting to expand it even further, open up the net past Indian films. A lot of you were recommending some Japanese films, any other foreign cinema, because I think that's sort of where maybe our channel can sort of go in the space that could cover that, that is not being covered, and we'd love to go. Yeah, let us know, and we can make it like a
daily thing.
Pizza with a bunch of yummy toppings on a weekly basis. We'll see.
There you go. You said yummy toppings in a weird way, but
I did maybe a little bit. Sorry, but we like that here at Pizza Time. But anyways, guys, that's it. Thank you so much, as always, and keep sending us your recs, and we'll keep sending you some great videos like these. Subscribe, hit the bell.
We've
all that stuff. Like it or don't like it, whichever.
Yeah. If hopefully everybody that watched the video subscribed, we could do it more often.
I know. But that being said, hey, we grew really quickly over the past just a couple of weeks. So we can only be thankful for that. But let's keep it going.
Yeah. Thank you.
And if anybody wants anything from Japan, let me know. Ha! Please don't. I'm just kidding. I can't get it for all of you.
You can reach out to Uniquely Finds. And she will bring them all to you.
My man.
They won't get them for free. However, I will get them for free.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Yes, you will not get them for free. You have to pay for them, but she will ship them worldwide. I don't know if that's true, but
you saved it. You saved it. It's going a little rocky. Hit some turbulence right there.
Reach out to Uniquely. They're on Instagram. They're on TikTok.
Uniquely Amazing Finds.
Yes, Uniquely Amazing Finds. They are fantastic. She's a fantastic human being, by the way.
Yes, she is. She's the best.
And she puts up with this asshole, which, by the way, let me just tell you something about this asshole. He's an asshole. He doesn't respond to text messages. He doesn't respond to Instagram chats. I'm just kidding. He responds to me all the time. But before we started a podcast, he would take days to respond to me.
Yeah, true.
Anyway.
I'm a guy who, my interests is what I put my priorities are in that way. So that being said, I respond to you. I've been responding to people on Pizza Time comments. So I'm not going to let you guys down this time. But personal messages. Yeah. Just be careful. Watch out. Yeah. Anyways, bye guys.
Later.